and all of that. But yet we seek a great nation. So we discover that we have all these stories we tell. We pad up our CVs. A woman who may have one way or the other, by error or by design, given birth before, and you meet a man many years later. You don't confess. You just pretend that you're just a young woman of yesterday. Even men, you have 3 or so children with baby mamas outside, and you meet a young woman many years later, and you don't even confess all these things, and these things come up to destroy the relationship along the way. And then so many things we do. Governments, people in authority tell lies to the citizens lie to themselves. You pad up your CV, you lie because you want to do NYSC, you're over 30, you don't want to accept, and things like that. So are we a nation of lies? I've never thought about it like that until we were discussing yesterday. And so today I have a friend of the house joining me to look at this issue and how we can resolve it, because we can't continue like this. If it is true that we're a nation of people who build a foundation on lies, we know that that foundation will not stand, and it is important that we begin to look at ways to mitigate that and become better people and better persons, so that that Nigeria of our dreams can manifest. So it is my pleasure to welcome my friend Philemon. He's actually not here, but he's joining us via telephone. Philemon Ajekuko is a development economist, and so he knows how lies impact economy, how lies impact our lives, how lies impact the way we do the things we do. So this afternoon I have him joining me. Hello, good afternoon, Philemon. Hello, Philemon. Good afternoon. Hello. All right. We'll have the engineers. We'll have the engineers just work it out. Let's see how we can get in touch with Philemon, so we can get him live in the studio here, so we can get down to this discussion of how the lies we tell impact our society and impact the life we live and the things we do. Hello, good afternoon. Hello, Philemon, if you're there. All right, please just hold on. You can hold the line. Let's see. Let me see how, I don't know if the engineers are there. Just come and they help to put this together so we can get update with Philemon to see. Let's see if we've lost him. Let's get him back and see how we can continue this conversation. All right, yes, then we're looking at all of that. See, how is that so? We are looking for a society where everything goes on smoothly, but here we are, we tell lies to ourselves. We tell lies to ourselves. Okay, hello, good afternoon. Hello, good afternoon. No, I still can't get him on. So let's see. I don't know. Okay, Philemon. Yeah, just give me a moment. Let's see if we can get him on. Hello, Philemon.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, I'm hearing you loud and clear. But
I don't know what is trying to sabotage our conversation.
No, definitely nothing is going to. Nothing.
Telling me there is network and network is not connected. And that's
all right, okay, I'm very happy that you heard my intro there. That we have this challenge in our country of not being very truthful. You buy a wristwatch, you're wearing it, and a friend asks you how much is that, and you feel it will be better if you add a few more thousand naira on top of the cost to make yourself a bigger boy and things like that. Somebody gets up, you're sitting together, he gets up to walk away, and you say, hey, where are you going? He say, I'm coming, and he's walking away, and he's saying, I'm coming. So we have a nation built on, we have all these little lies and foibles that we exhibit, but at a certain level, we now begin to demand honesty from so many areas, and governments lie. We carry this attitude into governance, into the things we do. Ministers tell lies. Governors lie to the people. Presidents make announcements, we don't see the effect, we don't see anything, and they still defend their position. And I begin to wonder, is it true? Do you agree that, I don't know how you feel about it, do you agree that really, as a nation and as a people, we have this penchant for lying, let me put it like that?
First of all, as an Ogbma, let me quote something that somebody wrote somewhere. It says, if you tell a lie, be brief. That's why adverts are short. Now, that's for a kicker. Now, the truth of the matter is that as bad as lying could be, or may be, it is part and parcel of the human experience. If you read any good book on the CIA, for instance, or the KGB, or FSB, or the MI, or M115 of the United Kingdom, you will come to appreciate the enormity of lying that goes on in government all over the world. This is not something really peculiar to us. All over the world, lying is part of our body experience, or body of our experience, or experience, whatever. So it is something that is there. It is something that is part of us. The question is how much of it interferes in nation building. I think that's the question we should begin to ask ourselves.
Okay.
But if you are thinking of forging the system of lying, I mean, it's like telling me you're going to bring down the sun to the earth, which is not going to happen.
Okay, so what you're saying is that lying is part of the human body politic, and there's nothing we can do about that?
Almost to the point of saying that, yes. There's just nothing you can do about it.
So why then do citizens demand honesty and straightforwardness if already in human nature there is that embedded nature to lie, to be deceptive and all of that? Why do we demand honesty, transparency, and I mean, you can name all the adjectives.
I think what you should be thinking of, or what people actually demand, is on that spectrum between truth and lie. It's not a constant. It's like something that is always on the move. So depending on where you are and what your experience and expectations are, you begin to demand for truth.
Okay.
And as they say, that truth that you are demanding for is relative. So if, for instance, you are caught up in a situation, you don't want somebody out there to go out there and begin to tell people the truth. You would rather have it covered, so to speak. If somebody did something against you, then the reversal now holds. You want people to tell you the truth. Is that not what we experience?
Okay.
So that is why the truth lies in a spectrum between lie, outright lie, a little bit of lie mixed up with truth, and some bit of truth mixed up with lie, and outright lie and lie. So it is constantly moving in society. What you want to do, or what you are concerned about, is that when you sum up the life of the society, when you sum it up, what is it that will prevail? Is it the lies that will prevail, or truth will prevail? I think that is what we should be concerned about.
Okay, that so we're now doing a summation and an average of which prevails. If we would take a critical look at our society, Nigeria here, because that's what we're talking about, what would you say? Which do you think has been prevalent, the truth or the lie?
I think the lie seems to be more prevalent. That is why whenever government says something, I am always apprehensive as to what the truth is. You can take, for instance, the issue of fuel scarcity. You had a million excuses, right?
Okay.
So we even tell you the last one was that
oh, it was because of the election. The election was one day. That was the presidential election and the National Assembly election. It was one day. And the next day after the election, there was no crisis. The second day, the third day, the fourth day, the fifth day, there was no crisis. The crisis started almost a week after the election. So we are saying that if it was a question of logistics, how come we did not affect all the first, second, third day? It affected the country a week later. So in other words, somebody was not telling the truth. And you have heard that. Take the cash crunch, for instance, which is another example that is sitting between the CBN and the commercial banks. You had several explanations. Oh, commercial bank said, no, we have not received money from the CBN. CBN said, oh, we have pushed a lot of money to the banks. They are holding the money. Up to tomorrow, no one can say for certainty exactly what happened. But for me, I have the impression that the CBN held back to that money and kept telling us that the money was being pushed to the commercial bank. So you can see what has happened in the last couple of days, when even the CBN says, oh, we are fully back, we're going to push this money, we're going to supervise, till tomorrow. People are still queuing, get money out. So I see more prevalence of lies.
Okay, you know, that brings me, you know, as you were talking now, it reminded me of an incident that took place in my developmental years as a journalist many years ago. I was working for this government media house, and one of our big bosses then was retiring, and he said something there that actually still it guides me a little bit these days. What he said was that, he said, look, if 50% of the stories that came to my desk, that I put them on air, Nigeria would have gone up in flames. And since that day, it bothers me, because before then, I believe that as a media person, whatever issues you see out there on the streets, you need to tell the people. But he said, and since when he said that, it has moderated my view a little bit, that look, you also owe your nation some level of protection. So do you think when the government lies, are they doing it to protect us, or they are doing it to protect the political class?
Okay, let me put it this way. For the past couple of months, I have come up with this idea, because people always quote the Bible to say, you will know the truth and the truth will set you free, right?
Yeah.
But I have recoined it, that if you know the truth, always, you will die on your bed. So in a country, there is a lot. I completely understand what that fellow told you in your previous organization. It is absolutely correct. If what happens in a country, if everything that happens in a country comes out in the form of truth, no country will have any rest of mind. The people will never be at rest with themselves. The country will be in continuous turmoil, because there's so much going on that, for the sake of our sanity, somebody needs to lie sometimes, or at least cover up the truth. Otherwise, we will go ablaze. The country will not go ablaze. So he's absolutely correct.
Okay, so does that justify a situation where we have a statutory body like INEC, for instance? We have the population census that is coming up. It's supposed to have taken place this month. It has been moved to May. We have the police, immigration, and all these statutory agencies that have a job to do for Nigeria. Is that, from what you're saying now, does that give them a right to pad the truth because they are protecting us, to lie? INEC conducts an election, we are complaining. NPC, that National Population Commission, will do a census. Already from now, Nigerians are already apprehensive that the result of that census, we may not like it, and there must be agitations. All the censuses we've done before were never accepted by all, and all of that. Does that fall in line with what you just said, that they need to lie to protect us?
No, not necessarily. I am not saying that every time a government official or a government agency makes a statement, they should lie. No, that's far from it. there's a duty of care that people in government owes the people that are governed. And that duty of care also demands that the people be told some truth about what is going on. It is only when you tell the truth sometimes that you can even get the support of the people. When you tell lies, the lies usually will come through, except for people who are nitwits, people who are idiotic or idiots. Otherwise, when somebody in government is lying, you will know that the person is lying. Because they say you don't have to bother when you tell the truth. You remember that saying?
Yeah, sure.
It is when you lie that you have to bother, because you have to tell several lies to cover
to
the
keep
lies.
Covering it, okay? Yeah.
So that is why in some societies you see people going to jail for perjury, not necessarily going to jail for the crime they may have committed,
okay,
but lying under oath. So if a government official in some countries want to catch you, that's where they can easily catch you, when you lie under oath. That is why it is taken very seriously that you should not lie under oath. Once you are under oath, you are obliged by law to speak the truth. When you do not speak the truth, then you go to jail, because society actually needs elements of truth.
Okay, but Philemon, I don't know if I can pull you up a little bit, because the listener may not understand exactly what you mean when you say lying on the oath. I understand as well that we don't just, no, it doesn't have to just be in the court where you're under oath. When you lie in a statutory document, it's also seen as a lie under oath.
Yes, it is. It is, because when you do an affidavit that you are 45, whereas you are 55, that is lying under oath.
I bet you, Philemon, you know that so many people will be in jail in Nigeria if all right, please go on, yes.
Yeah, so you see that happens a lot. You've seen people who are lying even about institutions they attended. For God's sake, you did not attend Harvard, you did not attend Yale, you did not attend this or that university, or University of Lagos or whatever, and you put it on your CV that you attended. Some do not even have the basic educational qualification, which is West African School Certificate, but they put it there and use it to apply for political office, because the electoral has said you must have a school certificate or the equivalent. Now, all of this happens. Now, what I've also noticed, that sometimes, and this is where it gets dangerous, sometimes when you want to speak the truth because you believe speaking the truth is the right thing to do, you become an endangered species. Have you heard that?
Yeah, I've heard that. I've seen it happen a couple of times as well.
So you see, the late David Fayemi says, in a lawless society, when you become lawful, then you are at risk. You are in danger. So people are busy lying on their CVs about their ages, and they are staying longer in the civil service. And here you are saying, no, I must stick to my age because that is the right thing to do. Guess what? You'll be thrown out just when you hit 60, right? And then the fellow who has lied will stay around for another 5 years. And it could be possible that in those 5 years, he will be involved in a lot of fraud, and he will make a lot of money, and he will come to your village, take a chieftaincy title, or go into politics, and you begin to say, Babake, you begin to bow down to such persons. So you can see, how would you now feel that you did not lie, but the person who lied has been rewarded, and is now presiding over you that want to be vicious. So that's where it becomes complicated. And that's where some people who ordinarily would not lie will begin to think, wait a minute, let me think this through. If I don't lie here, this and this and this will be the consequences. So let me just do what every other person is doing. And so the pool of liars begins to enlarge until it engulfs the entire country. So when that happens, You give people money to improve on power, somebody eats the money. You give people money to buy certain equipment, somebody eats the money. So what happens? The country itself becomes changed. And the result is the kind of thing we are seeing today, that we can buy an infrastructure in place, something as basic as a beaver, that will upload a simple arithmetic data. And somebody tells you, sorry, we couldn't upload the data because there was no network. 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, 1 week, a simple arithmetic data cannot be uploaded. And somebody will barefaced tell you, yes, we couldn't upload, there was no network. Are you saying that there's no network anywhere in the country? Then how do we do our banking transaction? As much as we complain, for instance, that bank transactions fail, I can tell you it is only a minute percentage of the transactions that fail. Do you understand that?
Yeah, I do. I'm following you.
Millions of transactions are conducted every day in the banking sector, and they all go through. We don't get banks coming to tell you, oh, no, network failed. That is why they don't do that every day. So that is what we are facing. When we build an empire of lies, it's like that Europe tree that has been compromised by termites. One day, a little wind will come, and what happens? The big Europe tree will give way and fall. That is why we are where we are today.
Do you think there's a redemption? Because the way you balanced it out now, you say lies are necessary, and on the one hand again you say, okay, you need to put a break somewhere. Is there any redemption? Since the government needs to protect the people from so many of the truth, which if they hear, their heads will go bust. Where do we draw that line then between the lies that are necessary and the lies that are unnecessary?
Okay, let me tell you something. Look at what is happening in the UK right now to the former Prime Minister, Boris Johnson, right?
Yeah.
There was a restriction during the COVID-19. You should not go to parties. You should not go to this. You should not go to a church. You should not stay at home. But the Prime Minister and some of his colleagues went for a party. As simple as that. And you know the storm that followed that simple event. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Now, take that and implant it into our own society. Somebody will consider you mad if you are telling a minister should resign because he went for a COVID-19 party or went for a party during COVID-19. Nobody gives a damn about such things here. But you see, that is what makes the difference between one country and another.
Okay.
So we still have countries in this world, even though lying is become part of the fabric of society, there are still countries where if you tell a lie as a government person, it can haunt you. It can bring you down from government. We've had public officials in some countries who lied about what they did in secondary school. Remember?
Yes, sure, I do.
I did not inhale. You remember that?
I remember all of that. I did not, even in the US, people painting blackface when they were in secondary school and all of that coming to haunt them later. School. That is correct.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
So there should be some consequences when people tell lies.
No, Philemon, from what you just said, does that mean that our own bar is very low?
It's extremely low, almost sitting on the floor.
Okay, so how do we upgrade that? Because even in the society itself, the lies seem so pervasive. Is it possible for us to raise that bar as a people? The other day I was watching the former governor of Ekiti State, that Ayo Fayose, on a TV station, and he said that all Nigerians, including the media, which I agree, even the media is involved in all these things, he said we need to sit down together and draw a line and say, from here, let's now start pursuing that great Nigeria and just forget the past. Let's start from a new page to have a clean slate. You think that is what we need?
We need that. But I have some reservation whether we'll be able to do it as a country. I have said it before. This say that you lie on the bed the way you make the bed, you understand, applies both to individuals and to countries. So when a country systematically follows a tradition, a culture, or a practice, and then at some point that practice simmers into its DNA, then it becomes extremely difficult, not impossible, but it becomes extremely difficult to expunge. And I think as a country, that's where we are, because we are constantly afraid of telling ourselves the truth. It's like we are, it is, I don't know how to even put it. It's like we dread telling the truth about anything. Somebody, for instance, rigs an election, right?
Yeah.
And then the next thing, this same individual who calls himself a Christian, he rigs an election, and then he goes to church to do Thanksgiving.
Okay.
Yes, he goes to church to do Thanksgiving.
Okay.
And the pastor, who is also a witness to what happened, begins to call on the name of God to bless this man. What level of carnage would you call that? That is the problem. It's not that it's impossible.
Philemon, okay, yeah, go on, yeah.
Yeah, so if we need to do it, it means we have to go back to even the primary school to begin to inculcate that culture in our pupils, in our students at the secondary school level, and then our students at the university level. Even our artisans, the little artisans that you call to go and do little things in your house, just give them, if they give you a list, just make the mistake of giving them money to go and buy those things and see what happens. They will give you the price of the best, but when they go and buy these things themselves, they will buy the worst material. So it has seeped into the entire system that for us to be able to overcome it, oh boy, we need Jesus. We need Jesus.
So you mean it's a hopeless situation? We have to continue like this? You see the young people now, they're agitating, shouting, and I'm looking at them. After even themselves, they are told lies, and they are suddenly shouting, INEC has lied. And so just like what you said, the hypocrisy, that a man who has lied already is not blaming INEC for lying.
Yes. He's holding another man responsible for lying. Meanwhile, he's the grandfather, he's the matron of lying. And when he does it, he doesn't feel any twitch in his conscience. That is why when I see people speak on TV, I just laugh. I say, look at this, especially people I know so well. Certain politicians, for instance, I know their history, where they are coming from. And then they come and tell you, oh, this is not justice. When this person has been in power for 8 years, it should be this person's turn, it should be this region's turn. But when you go to his state and you look at what he did, why the same scenario played out, he took the opposite side of the bench.
Okay.
So how do you want me to take that kind of person when he starts talking on TV? You want me to take him seriously?
All right.
That's the issue.
Okay. All right. You're tuned to Citizen FM 93.7. The program is Politics Now, where we discuss issues about our country and how to make it better. You're hearing the voice of a Philemon Ajekuko, a friend of mine, a friend of the house actually, who is joining us by telephone to look at this issue of lies as a national malaise. That lies have brought us to where we are. How do we redeem ourselves from a country that lies? We tell lies in our CV. Your children are asking you, Daddy, where are you going? You tell a lie. Mommy tells a little lie, and everybody is lying to everybody else. And then when we turn around, we say the policeman lied. We expect the policeman to be honest in an environment where everybody is lying. We're expecting National Population Commission to tell us the truth. In fact, we're expecting INEC to be very, very honest when the rest of us are telling lies. So we are looking at this. How do we get a country where truth reigns? That is what we are discussing today. You can join us now if you are interested. Let's hear your take. How do we get out of this quagmire? Because from what Philemon has said now, he said it's a part of, let me see, I think I have the word he put here. He said lying is a part of the human body politic. Yeah, I think not in exactly those words, but he said something related to that there's lies everywhere. Government lies sometimes.
It's part of our body of experience.
Okay, it's part of the human body of experience. So these are the issues. So 0903 222-9797 is the number to call, or 0818 222-205. Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, thanks for joining us.
How are you?
I'm very well, please. Who am I speaking with?
Your program.
Okay.
Because this package contains the truth.
Yeah, who am I speaking with? First of all, who am I speaking with and what part of town you're calling from?
You are speaking with Chaka.
Chaka.
Chief Zaka.
Okay, Chief Zaka. Okay, you're calling from where, sir?
From Abuja, local government.
Okay, please go ahead. Go ahead.
So, in fact, human being as a creature, it lies. We can't tell ourselves from that. There are some situations that when you look at it, so transparent, that you see somebody trying to color into the darkness, which is the truth. He said something there that became so interested. You know, some of these politicians, a lot of them, they don't go to any elementary school, but they forge documents to just acquire an office. The same thing to people that falsify their age to remain in government facilities. It is wrong. Even before God, there is the 10th commandment says, "Thou shalt not tell lies." And especially this Nigeria, there is no truth in this country. That is why we are finding things difficult. Even this democracy is full of lies. That's why we are not taking it easy as it is expected to be. So, in fact, I always pray for Nigeria. In Nigeria.
Okay, now, Chief, how do we change this trajectory? How do we become a truthful society if there is so much lies in our society?
In fact, we should know that we are created by we are created by God, and God says He hates lies. So when we begin to recognize this, I think we should be close to the truth.
Okay. All right, Chief, I want to thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. Thanks for calling. Have a wonderful afternoon. Yeah, Philemon, I don't know if you were listening to that.
Yes.
Okay, he says the recognition of the supremacy of Almighty God, and then we begin to understand that we need to behave at a certain level to please our Creator. That is, for him, that's the path to redemption. I don't know if you agree with that.
Yes, I saw. I heard that, but you should also remember, for those who believe in the Bible,
okay, and the Quran as well. There are a lot of Muslims and Christians.
I'm drawing a specific example that I know of.
Okay, because you're a Christian.
Yes.
Okay.
So I want to use it to illustrate how deep we are. That Adam and Eve were just maybe like 100 and something years old on earth when the first lie came. When they were told, you know that fruit, you can eat it, nothing is going to happen to you. In fact, you'll be like God. They believed it, and they ate it. So from that time onward, that means that lying is as old as man. That's the point I'm trying to make.
Okay.
To tell you how deep it is in our fabric. You know, they say when let me use the local parallel, that when the leaf stays very long inside soup, it will become soup. You understand?
Okay.
So that is what is happening to mankind. It's not just Nigeria, as I said before.
Okay.
But the problem we have is when we begin to glorify. When
pastors begin to lie, and when members of the clergy begin to tell lies as well.
Begin to tell lies and to glorify, and then nobody pays a price for that. That's where it.
Hello, Philemon. Hello. Okay, we seem to have lost Philemon there. I hope we can get him back, but we're still looking at the issue of lies. Okay, we got you back. Hello, we're still having difficult.
Yes. So that is where we are, and that is and that is why it is very difficult for somebody to embark on the project of eradicating lies. You'll just be wasting your time.
So why then?
You might try.
No, Philemon. If it's accepted that lying is part of human nature and that governments indulge in it to protect the people, why is it that, like in our society, for instance, there's this vociferous demand for the truth? By the people, we need it. They tell us the truth. Is the truth going to blind us if we get it?
There's something they call paradox.
Okay.
That is the paradox of the matter. That is just the paradox of the matter. The people who demand for truth, when they are in position to speak the truth, they speak the lie because it serves their purpose. But when it serves the purpose to get the truth, they stand and tell you, please speak the truth. So it's a conundrum. It is a conundrum. And the only way it could be resolved is when you have more. At some point, at any point in time, over certain issues, you have more truth than lies. That is where a society can move forward.
Okay, so the society moves forward. Okay, so you mean the society moves forward when there are more positives, more truth than lies. Okay, not that lie will not exist, but there must be more truth than lie. But okay,
exactly. So if, for instance, out of 100 people who are mobilized to go and execute a project, if you have 70 people, 60, 70, 80 doing the right thing, society will move forward. Then we take it that the 20% is just like when you are doing a project. You make a certain allowance for something that will go wrong, right? That's what we call exigencies. So you know that something will always go wrong. So there will be people who will always run away with your money. So there will be people who will always tell you, oh, we have done the job. This is my certificate of completion. So there will be that quantity of people who will always do that. Now, so if you have more people doing that than otherwise, then you are in big trouble. Then you cannot get yourself out of that hole. That is just it.
Wow, Philemon, I am scared listening to you in the studio here, and you're saying that it's part of our humanly experience. Governments have to lie to protect us sometimes, and I remember my boss who said if 50% of what he got, he had put it out, Nigeria would be up in flames and all of that. So it begins to bother me that this conundrum, like you call it, that we are in, there is no end in sight.
There isn't. What you should pray for is that on that spectrum, you should be tending, the needle should be tending towards and above the middle.
On the side of the truth.
On the side of the truth. You should be able to drag it to the side of the truth most of the time.
But Philemon, the fear here is that, like you said earlier, this thing has eaten so deep into our system that we have up to 60-70% of lies. I mean, I'm just making a rough estimate in our own society. So the chances of what you're saying now is very, very low of our getting the truthometer, so to speak, waving the needle on the side of the positive.
Yes, it's just like something I told some people when somebody, a lawyer, will always tell you the law is clear. The law is clear. Every lawyer will tell you that the law is clear, but the law is never clear. That is why people go to court. Have you?
Yeah.
So it's the same thing that applies here. Everybody wants the truth, But nobody always wants the truth. But everybody wants the truth. But nobody ever wants the truth all the time. So,
wow.
It's a basket that we play around with and move on from there.
Wow. Philemon, this is scary, but I really want to... yeah.
It is. It is. Unfortunately, it is.
Okay. I want to appreciate you. Our time is far gone. We can't take any calls, so I want to appreciate you, Philemon, for joining me this afternoon. Philemon Ajekuko, our development economist, joining us via telephone to look at this issue of the place of lies, the malaise of lies in our society, and how we can overcome it. Unfortunately, the more we discuss it, the more fear. Like Philemon said, the more you get the truth, the more you panic, because if the government tells you the truth of what is going on in our country, we all want to run away. So I don't know, Philemon, we just, so I guess like Chief Jaka, our caller, said, we have to keep praying and hope that Almighty God...
It's not that you want to run away, you even want to shoot somebody. Really?
Wow. So, Philemon, I want to thank you so much for joining us this afternoon to look at this issue. Have yourself a wonderful, wonderful afternoon and a wonderful day.
You too. Bye-bye.
All right, bye-bye.
Yeah, bye.
All right, there you have it. Philemon Ajekuko joining me this afternoon to look at the issue of how we can tame this monster of lies in our society. Unfortunately, I don't know how to call that answer that he gave, but any which way it is, we keep our fingers crossed and keep hoping that someday, somehow, the needle of the truth will continue shifting towards the positive end, and we'll have a better society. I want to say thank you to my producer Fred Nice for his handling of the equipment right here in the studio. My name is Ernest. Don't forget, tomorrow we'll be back again at the same time, and we'll pick up another issue to look at, one of the issues that will be moving our country forward in the positive manner. I'll be seeing you then. Just have yourself a wonderful day.